Imagine stepping onto an island that, well, holds the entire story of a nation right in its heart. A place where, you know, ancient faith thrives right alongside world-class diving. Thrilling mountains meet these deep, clear seas. This isn't some fantasy, this is Cebu. Tonight we're diving deep into Cebu. It's famously known as the Queen City of the South, yeah. The vibrant heart of the Central Visayas. Picture this. A long, slender main island stretching about 96 kilometers, and it's surrounded by, believe it or not, 167 smaller islands. And this geography, it isn't just pretty to look at, it's profoundly shaped Cebu's destiny.
And that's really our mission in this deep dive, isn't it? To pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight from the sources we've looked at. We want to show you how Cebu's unique geography didn't just, sit there. It actively authored its rise. Its rise as the primary center for commerce, education, trade, and tourism for, well, the entire central and southern Philippines.
Yeah. Exactly. We're going to explore its really rich history, its diverse landscapes, some thrilling adventures, and, its unique culinary heritage, too. We want to make sure you gain a thorough understanding of what makes Cebu just so captivating. So, okay, let's begin this journey. We've called Cebu the Queen City of the South. But what does that physical description actually mean? Well, we're talking about a main island, nearly 200 kilometers long north to south. It has these narrow coastlines that pretty quickly give way to limestone plateaus, some fertile plains, and then rolling hills that climb up into rugged mountain ranges. You've got peaks like Osmeña Peak soaring over 1,000 meters. And don't forget, this main island comes with that amazing constellation of 167 smaller islands.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here is how this dramatic topography and its central location didn't just passively exist. They actively shaped its destiny.
Yeah.
Even before the Spanish turned up, Cebu was already a flourishing hub for trade, especially with China. That same centrality, that strategic spot, made it the logical landing point for Ferdinand Magellan back in 1521. And later, it became the site of the first Spanish capital, before Manila eventually took over.
Right, before Manila.
And this historical centrality, it still dictates modern travel, actually.
Yeah.
Mactan Cebu International Airport, that's your central gateway. And from there, you basically have to make a key decision. Are you going north? To the serene beaches of Bantayan or the diving Mecca Malapascua? Or are you heading south? Towards the adrenaline stuff like Mall Bowl and the Kawasan Falls Canyons? The island's physical form, it literally shapes the whole tourist experience. It creates these distinct northern and southern circuits.
It's quite something, isn't it? Thinking that a geographical reality from centuries ago still kind of dictates how people travel there today. So this deep dive, it wouldn't be complete without looking at how that geography then, laid the groundwork for Cebu's incredible history. To really understand Cebu, we need to journey back to the 16th century, to a moment that would forever change the course of the Philippines. Cebu was rightly called the cradle of Christianity in Asia. It's the birthplace of the nation's colonial history and its really deep-seated Christian faith. Our historical walk, let's say, starts at the iconic Magellan's Cross Pavilion in Cebu City. It was right here in 1521 that Magellan's expedition planted a cross. That marked the arrival of Christianity. Now, the cross you actually see today holds fragments of the original, but it's encased in tindala wood that's a really durable local hardwood. They did that back in 1834, apparently, to protect it from devotees who used to chip away pieces believing it was miraculous. And if you look up, there's this beautiful ceiling mural depicting the first baptism, Raja Humabon, Queen Juana, about 800 of their subjects.
And just across the plaza from that historic cross, you find the Basilica Minore del Santo Niño. It's a place of huge reverence, and it's the oldest Roman Catholic church in the entire Philippines.
Yeah.
Its story is deeply, deeply tied to Magellan's arrival. Remember those gifts to Queen Juana? Well, among them was a Flemish statuette of the child Jesus, the Santo Niño. Then, 44 years later, in 1565, Legazpi's expedition, incredibly, unearthed this same statue from the ashes of a burned village. Miraculous, right? That rediscovery cemented the Santo Niño's status as Cebu's patron saint. It led the Holy See to designate this church the mother and head of all churches in the Philippines.
Wow. And just a short walk from the Basilica takes you to Fort San Pedro. It's the oldest and smallest triangular bastion fort in the country. Initially, it was just a wooden structure built by Legazpi's men, but later in the 18th century, it was rebuilt in stone. It served as the nucleus, really, of the first Spanish colony defending that fledgling settlement.
But Cebu's history, it's definitely not just a simple story of conversion and colonization. Not at all. To understand its other side, its fiercely independent side, we need to cross the channel to Mactan Island. Because it was here, on April 27, 1521, that Magellan met his end, at the hands of a native chieftain named Lapu-Lapu. This event, the Battle of Mactan, is remembered as the first recorded act of Filipino resistance against foreign rule, a really pivotal moment. And the Mactan Shrine, which commemorates this battle, it actually features two monuments, which is interesting. There's a stone obelisk honoring Magellan, built in 1866, and then this powerful 20-meter bronze statue of the victor, Lapu-Lapu.
Yeah, and when you stand there between those two monuments on Mactan, it's fascinating. That juxtaposition, it reveals something profound about the Cebuano identity, and maybe the wider Filipino identity, too. It's this ability to simultaneously embrace the Catholic faith that arrived with the Spanish. You see people flocking to the Basilica to venerate the Santo Niño, while also honoring Lapu-Lapu as the nation's first hero for fighting for independence. That's, well, it's a sophisticated harmony, isn't it? Holding these seemingly opposing historical threads together. Okay, so we've explored the historical heartbeat of Cebu City. Let's now cast our gaze outwards a bit, because beyond its urban core lies, well, an entire archipelago of dreams, those 167 islands we mentioned. Each one offers a really distinct vision of paradise. For those drawn to pristine beaches, maybe some quietude, our journey first takes us north, to Bantayan Island. Bantayan Island. It really redefines tropical escape, seriously. It's not just the powdery white sand and the turquoise waters, which are stunning, obviously. It's this profound tranquility you feel. It's like stepping into a slower, unspoiled pace of island life.
A genuine digital detox, if you need one. Its crown jewel has to be Coda Beach, famous for that amazing serpentine sandbar. Just incredible. But beyond the sand, you can explore the historic Saints Peter and Paul Church, cool off in Ogtong Cave's underground waters, or even, get this, go skydiving for a totally new perspective.
Skydiving over paradise, not bad. And from Bantayan, it's just a short hop over to the smaller, maybe more rustic, Malapascua Island. Now, Malapascua has beautiful beaches too, don't get me wrong, but it is, first and foremost, a world-renowned, diverse paradise. Its global fame comes from one specific, incredible marine encounter: the thresher sharks of Monad Shoal. This place, it's a submerged island, basically a cleaning station, and it remains the only place on Earth where these really elegant long-tailed sharks can be reliably seen by divers in shallow waters, usually right at sunrise. You have to get up early for that one.
Worth it, I imagine. Okay, but what if your compass points south from Cebu City? Well, a distinctly different kind of adventure awaits down there. Our first stop is the coastal town of Moalboal. That's the undisputed hub for marine adventure on the main island's southwest coast. It's your gateway to the rich coral walls of Pescador Island, and also Turtle Point, where, yeah, seeing graceful sea turtles is almost guaranteed.
And just off the coast of Oslob, way down on the far south, you'll find Similan Island. It's small but absolutely stunning, a tropical sanctuary famous for its brilliant white sandbar. And the cool thing is, the sandbar magically shifts and changes shape with the tides and the seasons. It's like a living testament to nature's power, an ever-changing canvas. Every visit is kind of unique. It's surrounded by a protected marine sanctuary, too, so it's a favorite spot for snorkelers and day trippers.
Right, and no tour of Cebu's islands would really be complete without talking about the vital role of Mactan Island. It's connected to the mainland by 3 pretty impressive bridges now. Mactan is home to the Mactan Cebu International Airport, which makes it the first and last stop for almost every visitor. But it's way more than just a transit point, right? Mactan is the epicenter of luxury. It hosts this glittering array of world-class resorts: Shangri-La, Movenpick, Crimson, you name it.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Mactan's role as this central hub is what allows Cebu to cater to such an incredibly diverse range of visitors. It basically operates on this sophisticated hub-and-spoke model. The highly developed infrastructure of Mactan, the airport, the high-end resorts, its closeness to the city that acts as the central engine. And that engine makes the more rustic, maybe far-flung destinations like Malapascua up north or Bantayan viable and accessible to a global audience. It makes the whole system work.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so while the islands offer that serene beauty, the heartlands of mainland Cebu, they pulse with a wilder, more adventurous spirit. And here we find 3, I'd say, unmissable, world-class experiences that have really put the province on the global map for thrill seekers. First, we head back to Moalboal, but this time we're going straight for the water's edge at Panaxama Beach for the famous Moalboal sardine run. Just try to picture this. And you step off the beach, swim out maybe just 20 or 30 meters, and you plunge into this living, breathing vortex of millions upon millions of shimmering sardines. This isn't seasonal either. This incredible spectacle happens right here in this exact spot 365 days a year. It's always there. It's like a silver storm, one of the planet's greatest and honestly most accessible marine phenomena. And you often see sea turtles just gliding through it all. Pretty amazing.
It really is. Okay, next we venture inland a bit to Badian, which is home to the famed Kawasan Falls. But this isn't just about, looking at a waterfall from a distance, canyoneering at Kawasan is this thrilling 3 to 4 hour journey that starts upstream. You trek through lush jungle, you scramble over rocks, swim through this impossibly turquoise water. It's punctuated by natural rock slides and a series of optional cliff jumps into these deep, refreshing pools. Some jumps are as high as 30 feet if you're brave enough. And the grand finale, of course, is your arrival at the main 3-tiered cascade of Kawasan Falls itself, a spectacular reward for the effort.
Sounds intense. And to cap off our wild adventures, let's ascend to the very roof of the province, Osmeña Peak in Dalaget. Standing at 1,013 meters, it is the highest point in Cebu. And the view from the summit, it's just breathtaking. A full 360-degree panorama. You see these jagged, sharp-pointed green hills. It's a unique geological formation, often compared to the Chocolate Hills of Bohol, but, sharper, pointier. On a clear day, your gaze can stretch right across the Tanyun Strait to the neighboring islands of Negros and Bohol. And what's great is its accessibility. The height from the trailhead to the summit is actually quite short, beginner-friendly, only takes about 15 to 30 minutes, which makes it perfect for catching a sunrise or a sunset.
Definitely. Now, Cebu also offers one of the most famous and, let's be honest, most controversial wildlife encounters, the whale sharks of Oslob. The allure is undeniable, right? Oslob offers a guaranteed up-close interaction with the world's largest fish. You will see them. And that certainty is achieved because the local fishermen actually provision the sharks. They feed them thawed shrimp from their boats to keep them in the area for the tourists.
Right. And this practice, while incredibly popular, it comes with a significant ethical dilemma. There's no way around it. Scientific studies have documented that these daily feedings disrupt the sharks' natural migratory patterns. These sharks can travel thousands of kilometers, so the feeding prevents them from reaching their breeding grounds and fulfilling their, ecological role in the ocean. Plus, the sharks also suffer from a non-varied diet, just eating shrimp, and they're often seen with stars from repeated contact with the boats. And the overcrowding can cause stress, too, if regulations aren't well enforced.
It's important, though, to acknowledge the local perspective here as well. This tourism model has lifted the fishing community of Oslob out of poverty. That's a fact. And it has been credited with reducing maybe more destructive fishing practices in the area. So there's that side, too. You have to see it in context. The immense success of southern Cebu's whole adventure corridor, that powerful cluster of the Sardine Run, the canyoneering, Osmeña Peak, it created huge tourism pressure. And the Oslob attraction, with its guarantee of a perfect photo op, is kind of a direct market response to that intense demand for predictable, Instagrammable wildlife encounters.
So yeah, the question isn't simply should you go, but maybe more like, what does your choice actually support? As travelers, we vote with our wallets, don't we? There are ethical alternatives out there, like Donsols in the Bacurau region. Sightings there aren't guaranteed because the sharks aren't fed. But the interactions, when they happen, are natural, they're regulated, and the money contributes more directly to genuine conservation efforts. So the decision is yours, obviously, but it should definitely be an informed one. Okay, shifting gears completely. No journey to Cebu is complete without a deep dive into its culinary landscape. The food here is honestly a destination in itself. It's this delicious tapestry woven from indigenous traditions, Spanish colonial influence, and that Chinese trade heritage we mentioned earlier. Start with the king, lechon. Cebu is, without question, the lechon capital of the Philippines. The late, great Anthony Bourdain famously declared it the best pig ever. High praise. So what makes Cebu lechon so legendary? Well, unlike other versions, Cebu's lechon is all about the flavor inside the meat itself. Before it's slow roasted on a spit, the pig is stuffed with this fragrant bouquet of lemongrass, garlic, spring onions, bay leaves, and other local herbs and spices. The result? Oh, it's a masterpiece of textures and tastes. Impossibly crispy skin that shatters like glass. And succulent, flavorful meat that's so deeply infused it genuinely needs no sauce. It's just perfect as it is. It's more than food. It's a cultural symbol of generosity and joy.
Absolutely. And next, we should explore a uniquely Cebuano dining concept, sutikyo. This is this interactive culinary experience, and it actually dates back to pre-colonial times. Magellan's own chronicler, Pigafetta, wrote about it in 1521. The concept is simple but brilliant. You go to a stall or restaurant, you choose your fresh catch, could be fish, squid, crabs, shrimp, whatever looks good, and then you tell the kitchen how you want it prepared based on these 3 methods. Sugba, which is grilled over hot coals, tuwa, which is stewed in a savory broth, and kilo, which is raw, cured in vinegar, kind of like a Filipino ceviche. It's really a celebration of freshness and a direct taste of Cebu's maritime heritage. Very cool experience.
Sounds delicious. And finally, no Cebuano street food adventure or even a meal at a simple eatery is complete without its essential companion, puso, also known as hanging rice. You'll see these iconic diamond-shaped parcels hanging in big bunches from street-side barbecue stalls everywhere. Puso is basically rice cooked and served in an intricately woven pouch made from young coconut leaves, which they call luque. The name literally means heart in Cebuano, which is nice. The woven leaves, they impart this subtle, fragrant flavor to the rice, and the compact pouch makes it super clean and perfectly portable for eating with your hands, especially alongside grilled meats and seafood. It even has pre-colonial sacred origins as ritual offerings.
So what does this all tell us about Cebuano culture? When you experience these three culinary pillars, lechon, sutukil, puso, what becomes really clear is that Cebuano food is fundamentally communal. It's experiential. It's really not about quiet, solitary meals. Lechon is the heart of a fiesta, right? Meant to be shared by everyone. Sutukil is this interactive ritual, choosing your food together. Puso is the fuel for social gatherings, easy to share. To truly taste Cebu, you really have to participate in its culture of community, its focus on freshness, and just the general celebration of being together.
Yeah, beautifully put. From those historical echoes in the heart of the city to the silent depths off Malapascua, from the adrenaline rush of Kawasan's canyons to the communal joy of a lechon feast, Cebu isn't just one destination. It's like an entire world of travel rolled into one incredible province. It's a place that really engages all your senses and speaks to pretty much every kind of traveler.
Definitely. And to help you maybe start planning your own adventure, here's a quick practical guide. The ideal time to visit Cebu is usually during the dry season. That's roughly December to May. You get sunnier skies, more pleasant weather. Just be aware, though, that the third Sunday of January marks the world-famous Sinulog Festival. It's vibrant, it's spectacular, absolutely amazing to witness, but it's also the absolute peak of the tourist season. So you'd need to book everything flights, accommodation well in advance. Getting around Metro Cebu itself is pretty easy. You've got taxis, ride-hailing apps like Grab are common. Or, for a truly local experience, you can hop on one of those colorful jeepneys, the iconic, decorated public utility vehicles. They're everywhere. Now, to travel north or south on the main island, series buses run frequent services from the north and south bus terminals in Cebu City. They're reliable. And to reach islands like Bantayan or Malapascua, you'll typically take a bus to the relevant Port Hagnaya for Bantayan, Maya for Malapascua, and then transfer to a public pump boat or ferry. Okay, and as for where to stay, Cebu offers a huge range. For budget-friendly options, you'll find good hostels in traveler hubs like Shijoje Postel in Cebu City, that's a popular one. Mid-range hotels like Quest Hotel or Bayfront Hotel offer great value and comfort. And then for that 5-star luxury experience, Mactan Island is really the place to be, with world-class beach resorts like Shangri-La Mactan, Crimson, Movenpick. Or you could consider something like Badian Island Wellness Resort further south for a really exclusive, tranquil retreat. Lots of choices.
Great tips. So after this deep dive, thinking about everything we've covered, what aspect of Cebu's unique blend, that mix of tradition, natural wonder, modern vibrancy, what resonates most with your own sense of discovery? And how might that influence maybe your approach to future travel experiences, wherever they might be? Something to think about. We really hope this deep dive has given you a richer, more nuanced understanding of this incredible Philippine province. Thanks so much for joining us.